My name is Joel, and I am from the Dominican Republic. I lived in the Dominican Republic till I was 18. I got baptized when I was 15, and before I had the gospel, I didn't even think about everything that I was capable of accomplishing. And I moved to the US through my dad. The first place I lived in was in New York. I lived in Brooklyn, and I was living there for about 11 months, and then I went on a mission. I remember my 11 months in New York were super tough because I did not know any English. And so I learned English on my mission. So yeah, even since I was in the MTC, I realized that English was gonna be a blessing in my life. And so I took those 8 weeks that I had to learn very seriously. And I remember waking up extra early instead of 6:30, 6, so I can get like extra minutes of language learning. It pays off, well, right? It pays off, it really does, because now I see like how the work that I put in on my mission is now being like a blessing. While I was on my mission, I realized all the potential that I had and that I have, and so I want to, take advantage of that knowledge and that realization. So when I got back from my mission, I decided to hang out with a friend from the mission, and he asked me like, what are you gonna do now that you're back from your mission? And I was like, my goal is to end up at BYU. So anything that's related to BYU, I'll do it. And so I did 2 semesters at UVU, and then Diane told me about the opportunity of getting into BYU through the Flex program. And so that's how I end up here. I'm grateful for the gospel. I really am. I just know that everything that I have learned, English, finding a wife, getting into school, everything has been through the gospel. During my time at the continuing education, I've been able to meet some great people that have been willing to support me. I had to put a lot of work in, especially because even writing in English is a challenge sometimes. Eventually, I got into BYU, so that was amazing. I'm also working in continuing education as a photographer, so that's been a great experience for me. Now we have a young boy, he's 6 months, and he's growing, he's happy all the time. If you see him, he will definitely give you a smile. You won't have to ask for it. And it is amazing to see him grow, and eventually I would love him to also continue in the journey of getting an education, becoming a professional. Those are some of the things that I want for him, and I'm making sure I set the example for him. My mom didn't finish high school. My dad finished high school but only did like 1 year of college and then dropped out. So honestly, being a first-generation student is what keeps me motivated. For some people, they might see it as a disadvantage, but for me, it's actually one of the forces that motivate me to actually continue to work hard. Being as part of a continuing education for those two semesters, I've been able to go from the Flex GE to being enrolled at BYU and now applying to the supply chain program, which is mind-blowing to me, but it was great for me because I was able to not only learn from the other students, but also to see how I can also influence other students in like seeing that it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you put in the work, you can make it. I've just noticed that throughout my whole time as a member of the church, it's been about being at the right time, the right place, and just doing this small thing continuously. And that's like what has set a difference in my life, for sure.